Ladies and gentlemen, everyone, welcome to Materials for the Arts. Get out of the spotlight there. So, my name is John Cloud Kaiser, and I'm the Director of Education here. And we're just thrilled to have you come out tonight. As you know, this is New York City and the world's premier arts reuse facility where we gather materials that would have normally been sadly thrown out and instead save them from the landfills and donate them to artists and to schools in the millions of dollar amounts, literally changing the landscape of arts in New York City. And so you all are our ambassadors, and when people come out, we want to share what we do, and hopefully you can tell other people about the great work we do to let them know. And we're always excited to have fantastic artists here. And tonight, you're in for a treat. We're so excited to welcome Patricia Marx and Roz Chast. So they're going to have some fantastic things to let you know. I don't want to talk too much more, just to let you know that every month we have activities here at Materials for the Arts, and you're always welcome to come out. You can check on our website. And after this event, remember, you have this fantastic opportunity to get a signed copy of their book, and we're super psyched to be working with our local Astoria bookstore. Let's get a little shout out for that. Yeah. So afterwards, make sure you stick around and get your signed copy. But without further ado, I'd like to welcome our development director, Meg O'Brien.
First of all, thank you so much for coming tonight. I'm really, really excited. It feels like Christmas. I love these two women so much. I wrote notes. I feel like I don't normally do this because I don't want to miss anything. So first off, we love Roz, we love Patricia. The reason why they're here. So they came, basically, Patricia interviewed our executive director, Tara. I don't know, for those who are here, is this your first time being here? Show of hands. Okay, so we have some new folks. So basically, I think it was 2022, she was doing a story about where to donate items. And I think it was one of those we thought, okay, this is going to be about a 15-minute interview, and it turned into like an hour and a half. And I kept looking in her office like, what is going on? I thought she was having... She gets off the call, she's like, I love her, she loves me, we love each other. She's like, so she's gonna bring some friends in for a tour. And I thought, okay, sure, okay, all right, I'm not really paying attention to who she is. So she comes in, she brings some friends, one of them is Roz. Again, we do tours all the time. We're thinking 30 minutes. Hours later, we're loving on each other, we're giving each other hugs. I'm like, I feel like I've met these two aunties. I love them so much. And so, we've continued this relationship a couple of years later. We knew that they were writing a book together, and I thought they have to come in. So here they are tonight. We're really excited that they're here. And yes, I am the Director of Development for Friends of Materials for the Arts. This is the 501c3 nonprofit that was started by our old executive director, Harriet Taub. If you want to raise your hand, she is an icon here. And she could see down the line, Materials for the Arts is part of the Department of Cultural Affairs. We get our budget every year. And it falls on Friends of Materials for the Arts to raise money for all the extra things. If you are a New Yorker, you know that there are a lot of things happening right now in New York. We're trying to help more people out. Not only are we helping 501c3 arts nonprofits, we're also helping social service organizations. I would say more than ever we're hearing that budgets are being cut, and many, many more New Yorkers need help. So that's why Friends of Materials for the Arts exists. So if you enjoy this programming tonight, we hope that you'll go online. We hope that you'll make a contribution. And just to let you know, many people don't realize that we have an education center here. So we have field trips Monday through Friday, 2 field trips a day. We're sold out from September to June. We're teaching creative reuse to New York City public school students. We have an artist in residence program, now a designer in residence program, a young designer in residence program. We have a community liaison who's working out in the neighborhoods. So we're doing so much more because New York needs more support. Without further ado, so that's what BOMA is, and that's why you're here, because we're throwing this tonight. Let us welcome 2 of my favorite iconic New Yorkers, who also happen to work together at the New Yorker. Roz Chast, who is a staff cartoonist, and Patricia Marx, a staff writer for the New Yorker, as they discuss their book Tired Town. They have a whole presentation for you. I hope that they'll come out now. Let's give them a round of applause.
We have a ukulele band, and we're known for our fearlessness not to play the right note.
Yes.
Yeah, we think that's pandering.
Well, Patty is the one who really started this ukulele madness.
Always blaming me.
Yes, it's a little bit of blame, a little bit of thanks. But you were going to a wedding.
I was going to a wedding a long time ago when the last solar eclipse happened, and it was to take place.
Is this on? Yes.
Oh, coincident in place and time with the solar eclipse, and yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to start from the very beginning. I should say that Margaret, that was a very nice introduction, but we're really not that good.
If your expectations are here,
Yeah. All I
bring
can
them
think
down.
of when I see all the people, I said, so many people to disappoint. So, I was invited to a wedding in North Carolina. My friend Paul was also invited, and the guests were asked to bring a musical instrument if they had one, and we would serenade the wedding party across the bridge and sing and play Here Comes the Sun. And I always like to be the one performing rather than the one listening to. So it didn't really get in my way that I was the least musical person in the whole world. And really, I did take, I think, 10 years of piano, and I don't even know which way to face. And so I thought, ukulele, how hard can that be? So, and by the way, you laugh, but truly, if you have one hand, two hands help. If you have one hand and the internet,
Yeah, you can learn to play in a day.
yeah.
It's basically a cigar box with 4 rubber bands.
Yeah. And we never got better. So.
No, that's true. We were pretty satisfied with it. Things that are kind of a.
So I thought it was real fun to do that, and I told Roz that I had it, and I showed her a picture, and
then I got very excited about the color.
yeah.
So that was kind of and I'm also, very jealous when somebody has something that I want. And so it was, an Amazon purchase, I have to admit, and big $50, but I have to say, there's nothing I've ever bought for $50 that has been more fun.
No.
So
we formed a ukulele band
yes.
called Ukulele Meltdown. We don't know how to spell it, and we don't really know how to pronounce it.
It
We're
varies.
pronunciation and spelling fluid.
Yes.
And in our minds, as you'll see in the illustrations, we're a very big deal.
Oh yeah.
You
Yes.
are lucky that we're here.
Yes. Well,
We're, next week we're playing the Philharmonic. They don't know it yet.
here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And all you do is
All I do is swipe.
all you do is swipe.
And will I be getting fixed up with a guy if I do that?
Here. Okay.
Okay, well, wait. So here we are. You know us.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. Yes.
is this working?
Okay. It's working. Yes. Just
Here we are from the old country. It's called the old country because you look very old. Like Roz was, I think, 2.
yes.
And I wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
And this is, yeah.
It was, but we were friends back then.
Yeah, unlike.
In the old, we were friends in the old country. You were known for your scowl.
My scalp.
I was known for my babushka collection.
Because to make money, because I wasn't born yet, so I had no money, and Roz was only 2. I was driving a truck.
Yeah, and I posed for a lot of like sun, healthy sun sort of photos, like look how good you look with the sun tan. But back then in the old country there was a lot of radiation.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm kind of like boiled like a lobster.
Good for your skin, it turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we moved separately to the new country. First we stopped in the middle country.
Yes.
Then we moved to the new country, and we forgot about each other, but we were paired together by a website that matches you according to your height. Ukulele. Okay, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
And this is how we met. I mean, not exactly how we met. This is back in the 1830s when I was starting out and Roz was starting out.
We were both about 24, 25.
Yeah. And now we're in our, we're old.
Mid-hundreds.
You look so good for somebody 343 years old.
You do too. It's
really
amazing.
do.
Yeah.
And so we, this is the first article, the first piece I ever had published. It was in the Atlantic, and it's still relevant, and it was a humor piece. And I illustrated it, and we didn't know each other. And my mother called after it was published, and she said, I read your article, and I go, yeah. She said, I love the illustration. And she said, you should call the illustrator up. Now that's the stupidest idea in the world, but I do things I'm told. And so I called Roz.
Yes, and it's so funny, thinking about this, because nobody had ever called me, whether they liked an illustration I had done or hated it. Nobody had ever called me before, and nobody has called me since. But we had this nice little chat. It was basically your mother set us up on a play date. So it's like, look at that girl.
Yeah.
She's your age. Go play.
So we've been having play dates ever since.
Yeah. Yes.
And so that was that.
Yeah.
And then, go away.
There we go. No, there we go.
I'm a genius. Good swiping.
Yes, this is when we were on our tour with the Beatles. Remember that?
Yeah, they were doing backup for us. I remember. And I think Ringo is surrendering. And you were quite the card.
Yeah.
Rabbit ears.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We were with Bob and Joni. We got a different memo. We thought we were supposed to dress like airport dolls. Right, paint the thighs then.
Yes.
And they owe us a lot. We were the ones who told Bob to go nasal.
Yes.
And Joni, we said, cut your hair. She had like a pixie. We said,
Grow it
grow
out.
your hair.
Yeah.
That's
Back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, we were starting our band, our ukulele band. I mean, people don't remember, how big we were back then.
No, we were huge. Now, he didn't know either. He thought we were going to spin plates.
Yeah. I think we
showed
told
him.
yeah, exactly. We told him we were going to with
Here
that.
we are. We were facing the wrong way. Or they were in the wrong place.
Yeah.
One or the other. And
But we had fun.
we had fun I was wearing the tablecloth.
We had lucky things around our necks.
Yeah, very, very lucky.
Insignias of
Very
some sort.
lucky. And, no way. We're on tour. We're on the road. We hated the road. We got lost a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were the first, the first and only person or drivers yelled at by the GPS. And the GPS quit. And a lot of people think stands for under medication. And I have a point.
Or under-medicated also.
Under-medicated. actually, there was kind of a problem with this because we specialize in taking public domain songs and rewriting them to make them worse. And at that concert, we played Hang On Sloopy, but we changed it to Hang On Sloppy, so we thought it was great. And we also thought, I was sure Beethoven, stuff like Beethoven wrote it, but we got sued,
Yeah.
and so we had to kind of unban for a while.
Oh, here we are on it was one of the Jimmies. But at that time we had like a neck disease, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Something was happening. I don't
Yeah.
know.
The
It
disease.
got better.
We didn't have it. Yeah. I thought it was part of the contract. They said you can only appear if you get rid of your neck.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is a more recent, part of our comeback thing.
What became of her?
Oh, this was one of, remember this?
Yeah, one of our first albums,
Yeah.
Duck and Cover.
Duck and Cover.
Yeah, it's
Always
good advice for anybody once we start playing them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This is
Put that bead in
This-
your bonnet.
this album is kind of one of our breakthroughs because the United States government during the Iraq War played it to get out the enemies, and they surrendered.
Psyops. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was another one of our hits.
Yeah. That's right. Oh. So we have kind of a racket going on.
Yeah.
We have this CD. You can get one, and we teach someone to learn the uke in their sleep. Now, one person bought it and also sued us because he claimed that when he woke up, he could not play the uke, but he kept crocheting. And we thought, hey, thank us. Crochet stuff work is very nice.
I know. And you can always sell it on Etsy. I don't know
Yeah.
what he was complaining.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Oh, here we are. We're at a rave.
Yeah. I don't know what a rave is, but we're at one.
Yeah. It's very exciting.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, they sent us. I think they were really just trying to get us off the planet. Yeah.
So now we enter into our book publishing phase. This is the first book that Roz and I did together. Now everybody really hates me. I actually had a friend who wouldn't buy it for her kid because of the word hate.
Yes, and I remember that there was a bookstore on Madison Avenue that also wouldn't carry it. Remember, because of the word hate in the title. And now they're out.
These guys invented woke.
Yeah. They're out of business, so I can't see us.
We're not.
Yeah, and we're not. So.
And we hate them.
Yeah. Yeah. This was another.
This was
This is
another book.
one of my very favorite collaborations, and collaborating with Patty is so much fun. It's very. What is this? Oh, okay.
Where'd you win?
New York City. Look. This is New York.
I wonder where we were.
I'll just put this here. Okay. Sorry. Got distracted. What was I trying?
You were telling how great it is.
Oh, to collaborate. I got distracted by this. You see?
It's a science experiment.
It's really sad. Anyway.
And I say,
Yeah.
it's going to be a smooth transition to dementia.
It's true. Halfway there. Halfway home. So.
I can't take over. We love each other, and we've never had a single argument. And Roz is a great writer, and I like to pretend I have a good eye. So we both give us each other suggestions, and often we take them, and sometimes we don't. And we've never had a disagreement.
No, it's
But
really.
so tonight,
Collaborating with Patty is really like a Venn diagram in a way, because there's an area in the middle, I think, where we overlap, and
a big area.
A big area, yeah. And I think we really, when we collaborate on both wanted to be the best it
Yeah.
can be. So it's not like, I feel kind of bad that you suggested that about the drawing, and or anything like that. It's just you want it to be good.
So this book is one of my favorites and Roz's favorite, and the premise is that this kid has a person to do everything, to eat his lima beans, to kiss the ants, to write his thank you notes, and
To take medicine
this
for
is
him,
a-
to do his homework.
yeah,
to-
this is a fantasy of ours.
Yeah.
But wouldn't
Yeah.
it be cool? Couldn't it be somebody that like finds my earring when it drops or something? And this is rules for couples, and actually it came from Paul because I was constructively criticizing about something, and he said you can only yell at me for one thing at a time. And I said, that is really good. Thank you. And then I yelled at him for 3 things, and then went back and said good. And I can't remember any of the rules. Can you?
Yeah, there's a couple here. The thermometers.
Oh, what did you
Yeah.
say?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
so this is one. Marriage is one. Turns that up, and the other secretly turns down.
And everyone can relate. And this is another book we did. This was an actual quote from my mother. And I didn't do it, and then she died, and I have to say I regret it, because how great would it be to give a eulogy and go, oh, she thought of this. I had this, but, and this was things my mother said. Everyone has a determined number of footsteps to use up in a lifetime. It's reckless to exercise since you only exhaust yourself. And we live by that.
Yes, and my parents did too.
Tell
And
about your great aunt or somebody who came over on the boat.
oh yes. She would have been my great grandmother, and my mother asked her. She had come over from the old country on the boat. And my mother said to her, Grandma, wasn't it incredibly hard? Wasn't the journey incredibly difficult and terrible? And she said, when you're sitting, you're sitting. And I think about that a lot, because I do a lot of traveling and stuff for giving talks, and my kids are like, aren't you tired? You have to go here and you have to go there. It's like, I'm not flying the plane. I'm when you're sitting, you're sitting. I'm sitting on the plane, I'm sitting in the airport, I'm sitting in the car. It's like, I'm sitting right now.
A change of chairs.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is the book, our last book, and it's for sale, and it's called Tired Town. And I think we have a few. Well, you'll see.
Yes.
It's about it's about that girl, Nellie B. Knightley, and she does not like to go to sleep at night. I did not like to go to sleep at night. You didn't, did
No,
you?
I didn't.
No, we've never slept. Roz and I have never slept. No.
Well, I don't mind it, because then you can dream.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we're going to
Roz
get to
likes
that.
to-
Yes.
No, I like to. I think the goal of life is not to sleep, and so I tried not to. And one day I'll be very tired. And this is Nellie B. Knightley, and Roz's going to tell you about this, but so she has a flashlight, and you can read,
Yes.
and this is Naked Nancy.
Her
And
doll.
why don't you
But
tell-
I wanted to tell you a little bit about this drawing. When I was submitting the sketches for the book to the editors, one of them said, I'm afraid that some parent is going to get upset about the doll not having any clothes on. And maybe, and she actually used this word, you could put a chemise on her.
You think that would upset parents more?
Yeah. A chemise, like she could wear one of those like Fredericks
Yeah.
of Hollywood. Like I can do that.
Before she has sex with clothed Carl.
And swipe, because there's another picture of Naked Nancy. Yeah, so this one was distressing. I mean, it's a plastic doll. You remember what those looked like. There's not a lot to get upset about. Plus her leg is, I don't know. Anyway,
This has nothing to do with it. It sort of does. I had a friend who, when she was little, she had Barbie and Ken doll. And she vaguely knew about sex. So she'd put Ken on top of Barbie, and then she'd go out of the room for a little while, and then come back.
that's great. That's great. Yeah.
And this, Roz, you're the swiper now.
Okay, I'm going to take over the swiping. All right. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about the book this is the book that I did that came out in October. And I've collaborated with Patty, sadly, but it's I Must Be Dreaming, and I did this book partly, I sort of fell into it in a way, because I was working on another book, and that book was not working out. I lost interest in it, and I was trying to make myself work on it, and you know what happens with that, you just procrastinate. And I started drawing up my dreams for Instagram for fun, and I got really into it, and so I asked my editor if I could switch to do a book about dreams, and she said okay. And these are just a couple of quotes that I started with that I loved. The unconscious has a rare sense of humor. It makes delightful, ingenious puns, jokes, and comic improvisations. We are all creative geniuses in our sleep. And that's a quote from writer and psychiatrist and Jungian, Harry Wilmer, who wrote a lot of books about Jung, who's a wonderful, wonderful writer. And this is a quote from Carl Jung. For me, dreams are a part of nature which harbors no intention to deceive but expresses something the best it can. And this is the very first dream cartoon that I posted to Instagram. And as I explain in this book, I haven't made up any dreams in this book, but I cartoonified them in that, like, I took out my favorite part, the part that amused me, and drew that. So this one, my mother and her friend, a man named Bissell, had come into possession of OJ's famous club. The Bissell, I don't know why. This Bissell guy telephoned her to tell her of his great business idea. We can rent it out for parties. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing it right now. And my mother had a different opinion. That glove belongs in a safety deposit. Ever since I was a kid, I was interested not only in the content of my dreams, but in the fact that one dreamed at all. Why didn't I switch off when I fell asleep, like TV channels did at the end of their programming day, or they used to? What was this mishmash of stuff that projected itself inside my head like my own weird theater that showed nonsensical movies on a nightly basis? For some reason, I was suddenly responsible for an infant girl. Also, I was not wearing any pants. The baby
Just love naked stuff.
Oh, love naked. The baby was heavy and needed a diaper. A woman offered to lend me pants, but there were strings attached. These were my grandmother's. They're very special to me, and I want them back. And this cartoon, in the book, there is no scroll on top of the cartoon, but I will tell you about this cartoon. Okay, so I dreamed I was married to Danny DeVito. Because I have a section in the book about celebrity dreams, and the celebrities that come up in my dreams are not people that I think about that much, but somehow they come into my dreams. So I like Danny DeVito. He's hilarious, but he's not someone I think about very often. In my dream, he lay with his head in my lap, gazing up at me with adoration, and I thought, I'm not in love with him, but it's nice to be adored, so maybe this will work out. So, okay, I was going to do an interview about this book on WNYC, and the person who was on before me was Danny DeVito. And I was with the publicist from my publisher, and he was with a group of people, and they got talking, and my publicist told Danny DeVito about my book and that he was in it, and showed him the drawing, and he liked it so much that he came over to me and he hugged me, and we're like hugging, and And then he signed it, oh so nice, love Danny DeVito. And I thought, this is like the weirdest fucking thing that has ever happened to me in my life. It's like a dream. It was like a dream about a dream.
I'm still hoping for you two as a couple.
Hey, my kids are grown up, anything goes. This is a lucid dream. You guys know what lucid dreaming is, I'm sure. Lucid, for those who don't, it's when you know you're dreaming, but you know you're dreaming. So, I'm on the subway and my phone rings. Hello? It's my husband. You sound weird. Why do you sound weird? Of course I sound weird. I'm dreaming. These are some recurrent dreams. And I have a section in the book about recurrent dreams. I have alone at a party. I have a terrible disease. New York City has an unusual neighborhood. I think this is very common in New York. I mean, I have this one a lot. It's like, oh my God, look, there's windmills on the Upper West Side. Once again, I have lost my purse. The subway is different today. Too many birds, not enough cages, plane crashing in distance. My legs don't work. There is actually a physiological reason for this. For most people, when you fall asleep, when you go into REM sleep, your brain has this chemical that sort of paralyzes you so that you don't start walking around in your sleep and like leaving your apartment and like walking, into traffic or something. There are people who have an REM disorder and it's bad. In fact, Mike Birbiglia, he has to, I think, tie himself to the bed or lock the door or something.
He
Because
wears his horrible,
like a harness.
straight jacket.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. And the last one is pregnant and old. Not a happy dream. This is Elizabeth Taylor. I learned so many good things in my sleep. I learned that Elizabeth Taylor always traveled with her own stove when she went on tour. Amazingly, it looked like the tiny stove in my apartment. You guys know those like little stoves? They're like, yeah, it's in my galley kitchen. And I think because I am thinking about cartoons a lot, sometimes I do dream cartoon ideas. They're usually incredibly terrible. But this one, I once dreamed a couplet about a man named Orny L. When I woke up, I wrote it down. Something, something, Orny L. When he got mad, he'd ring a bell. I added a couple of lines, and that week submitted it to the New Yorker as a cartoon, which they rejected. So, this cartoon was partly from this dream. Here's a story I'd like to tell about the poet, Orny L. When he got mad, he'd ring a bell. I didn't know him very well. And this cartoon came from a dream, and the New Yorker actually did publish this one, so I was very happy about this one. Last night, I dreamed about shopping for bed slippers. I tried on some big fluffy ones, but I didn't like them. Then I tried on a pair of cute green slippers, which I realized could double as penny loafers. But I would have to put insoles in them because they had no arch support. and the store did not sell arch support insoles. I bought them anyway. My credit card was square rather than rectangular, and it had a picture of a wheat field on it. The lady wasn't sure the machine would take it, but it did. When the machine took the card, it made a happy little chime. Ding! The end. Haruki Murakami once said, "For me, writing a novel is like having a dream. Writing a novel lets me intentionally dream while I'm awake. Working on my weekly group of cartoons for the New Yorker sometimes feels dreamish, especially when it's going well. I sit at my drawing table for hours, thinking, doodling, jotting down ideas that might become cartoons on a nearby scrap of paper. At the end of the workday, the scraps containing these half-baked ideas go into my idea box. When I look at them later, some ideas gel into cartoons, but many do not. Salad bar from 1066. Turkey in therapy. Sometimes it's just a single word, podiatrist. Periodically, I toss a bunch into the garbage. When one of my kids was around 11, he looked into my studio and saw me staring slack-jawed at a blank piece of paper. He said, "Mom, what are you doing?" And I said, "Thinking." Letting your thoughts take you where they will, thinking is a lot like dreaming. And And this cartoon, this dream cartoon, my friend Patty, and I decided to eat at a divey Chinese restaurant, and we're seated at a communal table. Patty ordered some pastel-colored gelatin squares, and I ordered mugu gai pan, which I knew would be safe. And when I was growing up, I grew up in Brooklyn, and not far from a block away from Coney Island Avenue and Newkirk Avenue, and there was a Chinese restaurant called the New Toyson, where my parents, we went once a week. I think it was Tuesdays. And my parents were they were nervous about eating out. And when they found a restaurant they liked, they would always go back to that restaurant. And when they found a dish they liked, they would always order that same dish. A decade, you know? So we always had mugu gai pan because it was, in my mother's cosmos, it was safe. So
You were missing something not ordering the Southern's gelatin.
oh, I know. Because they were so pretty. I remember them being very pretty. Some waitresses came over and wrapped me in hot towels from head to toe. This never happened at New Toyson. It was some sort of free spa treatment. This made me laugh and laugh for some reason. I said between bouts of laughing, if I was chilled, I'd enjoy this, but I'm not. This dream is a great example of body sensation creating a dream. The laughing woke me up, and I found I was overbundled in blankets and too hot. And I'm going to end this portion with this. This is, I apologize to you, to save humanity. But you know what Jung says, you know, nature creates these things. There was a water shortage on Earth, but I had a genetic defect where I made tons of saliva. I kept people alive by drooling into their mouths. Everyone was grossed out, but it was either take my drool or die. Yes, I know. So that's...
musical portion of tonight. We encourage earplugs. We don't. And as they say at the doctor, you'll feel a little discomfort and then it will be over.
You can sit up.
I will say, okay. But I don't know if I'm in the right order, so
Okay.
we'll just whisper to each other.
We will.
Just you wait. Okay. Right?
Yeah?
Oh, no. Is this right? Not that right?
Yeah, what are those
Okay.
ones?
Okay.
You get a little. Are you singing as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
Singing is a
Singing
word.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get as close as I can.
Put that in quotes.
Okay.
Lean into it. That'd be great. But whatever.
I could make out with it.
Yeah, make out.
All right.
All right.
On your mark, get set, go. Park your car kind of near the curb. Just bumped into her. Park your car anywhere on this road. Shit, you know you just got towed. Park
Very Sandy Sea.
Very Sandy Sea.
Okay. Okay.
This is called Somewhere I Lost My Cell Phone. And by the way, I didn't lose my cell phone, I don't think. I think I left it home, so this is very real to me. I might start crying. Okay. Snack, crackle, pop. Somewhere I lost my cell phone, not again. There's the time that I dropped it inside the Mets bullpen. Someday I'll be behind the fridge or underneath the Brooklyn Bridge. It lost among a pile of rocks or stuck inside a bento box. It might indoors and outdoors, sea and land. There's a wait, I found it. It's in my tell you, Roz and I make a lot of mistakes, but since we're a comic, and it's okay. Someone said to me, "Well, you know, you should practice a little bit. You get better." And I said, "No, what would be the point of that? We're over. It's all over." Now, I don't know why, but Roz and I have a thing for sheep and lamb. So in that tradition of sheep and lamb, this is called blah blah wait staff. Excuse me, wait staff, have you any lamb? Yes sir, call me Pam. Lamb for myself, please, lamb for mama. Rare but not too rare, don't wanna hear it baw. Yeah, I tell you about the lamb. No Pam, kindly scram. Raised by a widow, fed only kale. Worked his way through middle school, then went off to Yale. What a provenance. Grandpa, Grandma, Uncle Hans. He once wrote an opera about Chairman Mao. Do you want to hear it? I'll sing it for you now. Go, Pam, go. Can't you understand? All we want is the damn lamb. Well, since all of our books seem to be about sleep, doing it and not doing it, this song is called Sleep. On your mark, get set, go. Sleep, sleep, sleep. I want bedtime seems extreme. 1, 2, 3 a.m. My parents want to scream. Sleep, sleep, sleep. I won't. It might as well be noon. Let's play and dance and jump around and shout good morning moon. Okay. And is that pretty much? Why not? Well, what should we shoot? I've been working on my memoir. Yeah. Okay. This is on my. I've been working on my memoir.
Okay.
We'll only do one of them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Ready, set, go. I've been working on my memoir all the livelong day. I've been working on my memoir, and I just turned 60 days today. Wanted to yell, I am yelling. Rise up for 10 in the morning. Don't keep your sing age. It will help me to my horn. We're gonna do audience. Who wants to play with us? Because we have another ukulele, and as have established, it's very easy. Who would like to do it? You, please. Are we doing anything cheesy?
Yeah, cheesy.
One of our favorite characters. So, a fish called Cheesy, and this is his song or its song or her song, and Cheesy was our favorite character. On your mark, get set, go. I am Cheesy the pet fish. I talk English little-ish. Swimming round this stupid bowl. Wish I need a Dover soul. Or a hunk of camembert. And a nice upholstered chair. The view is nil, the toys are old. But this place is rent controlled. And now, Q&A. We have answers if you have questions. If not, we'll just give the answers.
Yes, or ask questions. So do you, I was gonna say, do you want us to help you guys with that?
We always like help.
Okay.
So yeah, if anyone has any questions, this is your opportunity. We got time for maybe about 3 questions or so, and then we're gonna leave time for the book signing. But before we have questions, let's just have one more round of applause. Yeah, if you have any questions,
Yeah,
raise your hand.
just a really quick question. When you got you had that page for the New Yorker from a dream that you woke up from, did that feel like an easy day? Like, did you think of it and then feel like, oh, okay,
Well, I never know what they're going to take, because the way it works at the magazine is all the cartoonists, we submit what is called the batch, which is every week we turn in about 6 or 10, everybody has a certain number. My number is usually around 6 or 7 separate ideas, sketches. So I really had no idea, because I've turned in dream cartoons before and most of them are rejected. So it was, pretty exciting. But it's never
but you had to do 5 other that day anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like, and I'm going to do this dream cartoon, and then they say yes. It's, same process.
Roz, do you ever go shopping with Patricia?
I have not, well, we did we go, we went.
Well, bathing with that.
Yeah.
No, we never went shopping. Maybe we should go now.
Right here, the price is right.
Did your mom often send you on play dates, or was this a one-time thing?
That's a hard question. Let me think. No, at some point, my father said, and I'm a little worried that I was going to get married or something. Don't you know anyone who likes you? All in good fun. Any other questions?
Are you all touring?
Well, you mean for Euclid or?
For Euclid.
Well, this is part of our tour.
Yeah.
This could be the kickoff and also the finale.
It's in the tradition of we open for ourselves.
And close.
Any last questions? Anyone? One, I can bring that, there's a couple. Right over here? Yeah?
Yeah, where did the idea for Tired Time come from?
I don't know. We bought it. I think, I don't know. It's like, we have millions of ideas, and some of them just happen first. That's not a very good answer.
Well, I mean, one thing is you don't like to sleep.
I don't like to sleep in it. Like, I was sort of ruined. My mother told me in high school when I had a lot of homework, she said, there is no reason anyone has to sleep more than 4 hours a night. So I kind of think, oh my God, 4 minutes and one. Yeah, and it just, we like to write bratty characters. Yeah. Our first book, Now Everybody Really Hates Me, was about a little girl who was punished for hitting her brother, though she says she was not hitting him, she was touching him hard. And she's sent to her room, and she decides to stay in her room for the rest of her life, unless there's something good to eat that night, in which case it will be her last meal. And one of my very favorite illustrations is in that book, and because the little girl at one point said she's going to stay in there for the rest of her life. And Roz has drawing of the little girl on her bed, and it's very much the little girl's room with all the great details that Roz draws of the toys and the books and stuff like that, and it's a big mess. And the girl's on her bed, and she looks like the little girl, except she's wearing old lady clothes and a bun, and there's a sign that says me age 40